How's it going, man?
So it's come to my attention that our audience has no idea who we are or how we met.
That's a
Like,
story in itself right there.
yeah, because like we are on episode 4, right? And they don't know even how we met. We were just two people who just showed up and were like, "Hey, we're starting a podcast." Well, I
Yeah,
think it's time to shed some light on who we are and how we met. Don't you think?
of course.
But before
Couldn't
that,
agree more.
yeah, but before that, I'm going to talk about the final trip of when I went from New Jersey to now here in California because there is there is one specific thing I want to point out. Well, two things I want to point out. That when I first came here, right, there was this guy that both me and Chris know. I mean, that we both know, right? I think wasn't. I don't want to say his name because that'd be kind of. I mean,
His,
it would be.
his name started with an F.
Yeah, his name started with F, right? And we both knew him. And do you want to know what he first nicknamed me? As soon as he realized I was from Jersey, he called me and nicknamed me the Situation from the Jersey Shore, and
That
it,
was
it was a thing. It's not anymore, thankfully. But it was so ironic because I was not fucking anywhere built like the Situation. I was the fucking chubbiest was I 6 feet at that time? Close to 6 feet and very pudgy. So I was not the case for the Situation, but for some reason he's like, "Oh, Jersey Shore situation. There we go." But
zero creativity went into that nickname. You can tell.
yeah, oh, you can definitely tell. And then the other situation, the other, I guess thing I want to point out before how we met. Well, even though technically we met during that time period, just not fully, right?
Not a so I guess we technically met in eighth
Technically,
grade, but we didn't officially become acquainted with one another
right?
in our ninth grade year
Because apparently
of high school.
we shared a common friend, but I don't remember him introducing me to you at all, which is
I
wild.
I just vaguely remember meeting you like maybe once or twice because our acquaintance that we have in common, he was just, just like you, that was my first year in a new city, in a new school, and it was hard making friends. Me and him actually were in our was it junior high?
Yeah, junior
Yeah,
high.
our junior high's cross country team, and me and him were just like the two odd men out because you could tell the other dudes in the cross country team they were there. They were doing that for years. They were taking it seriously, and me and him were just there to be doing something.
And it wasn't the women.
Yeah, it was just I don't even know why I joined the cross country team. I know I like running and jogging, but
I cannot picture our common friend in cross country. I just don't. I don't know why, but I can't picture him in it. That's not any slight to him. I just can't see it unless I see it up like personally.
I can't even see myself too in a cross country team.
Well, I could see you. I could see you in that, but that's because you were like, instead of running 1 mile in high school, I'm gonna run two.
Yeah, I remember. I don't know why I
Fucking,
did that.
I don't know either. You were like the fucking. Okay, I say this in the nicest way possible, but you were like the fucking freak that's like, oh, I'm gonna go for 2 miles on this. I'm like, who the fuck is this dude? Well, I knew who you were, but I was like, why the fuck are you doing this? What do you
Yeah,
gain from this?
because I guess more exercise, more health, but yeah, I remember I was always like one of the like top 3 or 5 people to finish, and I just did not want to. Oh, you know what? I remember now. I had friends
Oh,
who
in
in
that
my
program,
class,
right?
yeah, who needed help jogging, so I would sometimes jog that extra mile to just push them.
Wow, that's like a good friend right there.
Yeah.
But anyway, back to like junior high, just really quick. That common friend that we had, right? I remember it very vaguely because me and him, we were kind of close-ish friends. But what really cemented our friendship was we had this class field trip to Knott's, which is it's like an amusement park that isn't as expensive as Disney land, basically. But it's really fun. It was really cool. But I was there with a friend I was closer to, or so I thought, and some other dude, right? And those two left me and our common friend completely in the dust and just left to go do their own thing at the park. And I thought we were gonna go as a group. No, that didn't happen. It was just me and our common friend. Really
That was
messed
a
up.
pretty big douchebag move right there.
I mean, no shade, and if for some reason he watches this, no shade, but he is that type of dude to do that to you.
Yeah, I know who entirely you're talking about.
That dude is someone I did not like in high school. I still don't like now, but it's whatever. It's in the past. But on to the main topic at hand, how we met. And boy, do we have two different stories because I didn't know this until you told me. But I'll start things off and then you can tell me your perspective because, again, it's completely different. So, there I was in, what was it, 8th, ninth grade? 10th grade?
Ninth grade
10th grade.
geometry.
10th grade geometry, right? I
No,
was
ninth grade.
ninth grade?
Yeah.
Ninth grade, okay, ninth grade. I was our math teacher's favorite. Like, there was no ins or outs about it. She really liked me because I was good at my work and very friendly. That's not me bragging, that's just literally how it turned out to be, right? And
Yeah.
so she was like, "Oh yeah, this dude is like getting straight A's or like B's in the class." I think it was straight A's, but it was like, "Oh, this dude's really good. He's really smart. He's very friendly." I'm gonna say like, "Hey, to Martin here, hey, I'm gonna set you up with a tutor or like convince you to get some tutoring from someone, specifically from this guy over here who's my favorite student, which was me." And me just being me, I'm like, yeah, sure, I could help. Why not? Uh, I mean, the fact I was being paid also kind of helped, but
Wait, what?
I was being paid. You were paying me,
Oh, okay. I thought you meant like she was paying him. Like, wait, you were getting two incomes?
dude. If I was getting two incomes, that would have been so amazing. But I think it would have been
Yeah.
illegal for the teacher to pay me. But
Yeah.
basically, yeah, what happened was Martin was having good grades in class. Our geometry teacher essentially set up a tutoring session where it was me and Martin, and we were just like, "Oh yeah, I was gonna help him." And I didn't think about it much at first, but I remembered the first time I really met you before a tutoring session was like we had to do these like group problems and solve them. And I was like, "Oh, I know this. I can help this, right?" And I remember taking a quick glance at you, and you were like mean mugging me for some reason. And I was like, "Oh, I don't know. Maybe he just has a staring thing. I'll just get brush it off." And so that's why I was totally fine with being like, "Oh yeah, I'll help tutor Martin. Why not?" And so,
I just
but the thing was, it was fine. Like, right, we were tutoring, and we had a fun. We had a decent time because you still didn't like math, but you seemed to put up with me and math for a while. And if I remember correctly, it helped not tremendously, but it helped kind of. I don't remember the exact details, but apparently
so
this was not. And I was like, oh, he was pretty cool, and I thought we were all right. But apparently this was not the case, was it, Martin?
no. When we first met, I just despised you. I know it sounds cruel, but it's just the way it was. Because back in high school, especially like ninth and 10th grade, I had an attitude. I just don't know why. I had no reason, but I was just giving as many people as I can just attitude. I really didn't want to make friends with anyone, just kind of doing my own thing. And so that drew into my schoolwork. I remember my freshman year, I was just struggling. I was just having a hard time adapting. And you were one of the people I took it out on. I don't know why. I'm sorry again, dude.
I that was
But
fine. It
thank
worked
you
out.
for putting up with me but then like you were also instrumental in me becoming more social in high school because you were one of like my first friends that I made in high school. And I remember like in geometry class, dude,
Yeah.
I was like one of the worst students. I remember I would just sometimes fall asleep in class, and it got to a point where the teacher she just gave up. Like she was like, you know what? Nobody wake him up. I wouldn't turn in my homework for weeks. I would hardly do the test, and it got to a point where I was failing. And you remember, like for most of the school year, our teacher was out due to medical issues, so we
Oh yeah,
constantly had substitutes.
the
So
first couple weeks, yeah.
Yeah. So like that was one of the reasons why I was already failing when she returned because I just was not doing my homework. And doing weeks of homework is not gonna happen. So I was like, you know what, might as well just continue not doing anything. And I remember she had a radical plan. Remember how she reorganized the classroom?
Yeah,
She was
that part.
pairing, yeah, like she was pairing her like the better students in the classroom with the ones that were struggling. And she paired me with this one chick. I think she was a cheerleader. She was trying to help me, but because of my attitude, I just brushed it off, ignored her, and then it got to a point where her next step in trying to get me to pass was um you.
It was the
And another
last
motive,
solution.
yeah, you were my last hope, you could say.
Oh God.
And at first, I'll admit, I was like, I would try to get out of our tutoring sessions any way possible. Like sometimes I think I didn't show up, or I would say, hey, I have something to do back home, and we would just cut it short. But you know, like always, my parents said, hey, you gotta start taking your schoolwork seriously. We don't want you to be doing this or that. So after a while, I was like, you know what, I'll start going to the tutoring sessions. So I went, started doing them, started learning. Actually started making improvements. I think I left geometry with a C plus because of you,
Oh
which is
wow.
way better than an F.
Well, yeah. Really, I didn't think I would. For some reason, I don't remember. I don't think I was a good tutor, but apparently I was. I thought I wasn't because I never did it before.
Well, you helped me pass. I'll tell you that. I remember. I think that was one of the reasons why we even bonded more because as I started turning in my homework and started improving on my test, see student gang over here. No, I'm just kidding. But as I
C's get
started seeing
degrees.
improvement, I was like, you know what? I wanted to thank you and my parents too. They're like, hey, you're proving this kid is taking time out of his day to help you. So they're like, you know, like reward you. But it would have been weird if I just gave you money. I don't know. You probably would have just accepted the money either way. So I did the next best thing I could think of, and I was just inviting you out on Friday after school. We would just
Oh
go to
yeah.
the local McDonald's and we would just buy a few McChicken sandwiches.
Oh yeah. And apparently, you claim we bought whole bags of McChickens,
I
and
remember a bag and McChickens.
I don't think we bought an entire bag of McChickens though. Even though they were like what, $1 back then.
Yeah.
I don't think we we were walking out of the McDonald's with a whole bag of McChickens. I don't know,
Well,
maybe.
keep in mind, even to this day, I eat quite a bit. I know for sure we got at least 5 McChickens. I think I would eat three and you
5.
would eat two.
Oh, in total. I thought you meant 5 each.
Yeah. No.
No. Yeah, because like, okay, even back then, I was a bit on the heavier side, but I don't think I could eat 5 McChickens even back then.
Oh no, not even today or back
Dude,
then I
I
could
could
eat that
eat
many.
a half a McChicken and be full, but I couldn't
Ooh.
finish in entire. Well, that's because I eat once a day, so my
Yeah.
appetite has gone way down. But I do remember, yeah, we went to McDonald's a lot, like frequently. That's because that's where we hung out. Because it became less right, like, oh, I'm gonna give you like a reward is kind of weird word to say it, but like kind of like, yeah, this is compensation for helping me out. And it just became, hey, I'm gonna be with this dude who's my acquaintance, not friend yet, but acquaintance, and we're gonna go to a McDonald's.
Yeah, and then I remember, you know, even after the tutoring session, we still kept on going to that McDonald's,
Yeah,
and then we started branching out. I think we started going to the Jack in the Box next door, and then a Straw Hat Pizza joint down the street.
I think that was much later, but yeah, I remember that one as well. But yeah, we started branching out and started actually just talking, just being like, "Hey, yeah, you play games? Oh, you do too. Cool. Let's play." And then like we just started talking about games we could play, just doing whatever. Then I added you on my PS3, and we started playing a bunch of games on my PS3.
Oh yeah, I know we played Red Dead Redemption,
Oh yeah,
Call of Duty Black Ops 1.
classics. Yep.
Yeah.
And I feel like it was a while though until I went to your house because there was like it was just like over the phone, over PS3, meeting at like a food place. But I did meet with you a lot during like our PE times because for our PE it was like 5 different classes all in one.
Yeah, we were two different classes. We would see each other on the mile run days because remember it was just all the classes would run around the field. So I
Yeah,
would see you sometimes, and I remember sometimes I would just stick with you, and then we would just try to finish the mile together.
right. And remember PE? Remember the fucking fire that happened in PE class?
There was a fire.
Well, they're not on campus, but it was so close that there were like ash like in the air.
Honestly, I can't remember. I remember the few times we had a hail.
Oh yeah, there was hail that one time. A
Actually,
lot of
two or three times.
there was a lot of things that happened. Remember when our other friend who starts with S and is dating a girl whose name starts with J he busted almost his head open on the concrete?
Oh yeah, that. Why though? I can't remember the
Apparently,
story.
okay. So he was sitting on the rails because like a bunch of us used to sit on the rails because why not? It was the only thing we could sit on when we were tired during PE class. And he slipped and he fell backwards. And then, for those who don't know, it is like a full drop into concrete. And so he slipped from the rail and busted himself on the concrete. And there was a fucking there was an ambulance and everything.
How many he's up to now? It's
Huh?
been a while, but I
Uh,
vaguely remember that incident.
he's doing well. He has a job, I think. I'm not sure if they're dating anymore, but who knows. But
Oh,
also speaking of PE, remember that quote unquote fight I had?
you mean the one-sided beatdown? I'm sorry, but
It wasn't one sided. It was he said something in and he said something very I think it was very homophobic in the fucking locker room, and I just went in to punch him in the dick. And then I walked out. He came up to me like, "What's up?" and then fucking nailed me straight in the dick with his like open hand. And then I was fucking livid and pissed, but then I guess someone caught wind of it and told to the principal that, "Hey, these two kids are punching each other." And so I
oh my
got
god.
you remember that, right?
I remember the other incident.
Which one? The one where I got nailed with a football?
Yes.
Well, apparently no. Well, that also happened with the same dude, by the way. But apparently, in that whole situation where I punched him in the dick and he punched me in the dick, I got suspended. He did too, but he came back before me for some reason. And then you were playing soccer with his class, and you purposely went to like soccer trip him multiple times.
Yes, so I was pissed off at that because, by then we were good friends, and that dude, he had a history of
Being
just,
a dick?
being a fucking, yeah, being a bully, you can say. And I wanted revenge, but the dude was what, like a 6 foot tall football player, and I was like a 5'3", short and pudgy
He
Hispanic.
he would have
But for some
like
reason,
broken your back like Bane if you full on attacked him.
on the soccer field, I was fast,
Right.
or at least decent enough, and I knew how to slide tackle because I remember in that year I was actually playing for a high school's, soccer team. And I was like, this is probably the only way I can get revenge on this dude. So, quite a few times during the soccer game, I kept on trying to slide tackle him. Unfortunately, it was to no avail, unsurprisingly, because the dude's a goddamn tower.
Yeah.
And I was just, what? At least I went for it. Probably didn't do anything, but maybe give him a scratch or two. I was lucky enough he did not call me out on it
Right.
and just nailed me in the face because if it escalated to that point, I just would have lost. Like, just no way in heck I was gonna beat that dude.
Right. But actually, now I think about it, I think that no, that happened because that was after the football incident. Same dude. He literally threw a football in the air without saying anything, as hard as he could and as high as he could. Didn't warn anyone. and it landed perfectly on my head for some reason and knocked me the fuck out. Like, this dude, he had zero care. He was just chucking it. It's like, oh, if it hit someone, right? And then it hit me perfectly to a point where I was out. Like, that I was completely out. I lost all vision and like all mobile ability in my body and just collapsed like a paperweight. Remember that?
Yes, you had to be carried to the infirmary because you were just like gone,
Well,
not
yeah, that
responding to us.
well, yeah, that thing hit me in the side of the head. That is a dangerous spot to get hit by. Like it hit me so hard inside my head. You know the scene of like in the cartoons that dude would be like blacking out and like seeing birds. It was like that, but instead of that, I was literally seeing like flashes. Like, the stars was like just flashes of light, and I was just
Crazy part
gone.
about it, yeah. And the crazy thing about that whole situation was the school did not tell your family. Your aunt and mother, they learned about that incident through me. Because I remember it was after school and I was walking home and I saw your mom and aunt and I just asked them, "Hey, how's Joe? I mean, how's Desmond? Is he doing better?" And they're like, "What do you mean if he's doing better?" And they looked at me confused. I was like, the school didn't call you?" And they're like, "What do you mean?" "Yeah, this happened to him." And they panicked. They're like, "What do you mean?" They're like, "Yeah, he's in the infirmary right now. You didn't get a call?" And they're like, "No." And then I remember they just went inside the school.
I don't. Yeah, well, obviously I don't remember that. I was passed out on the fucking nurse's
Yeah.
couch. But the fact that they never told anyone, I mean, it's kind of par for the course. Our high school was pretty shit. Like all
I just
things
find that
considered.
funny. Yeah. It just like I was trying to think back. How long would they have stood out there until they went inside and asked for you? Or like is they were
Probably.
obviously gonna call you, but you weren't gonna pick up
Yeah.
unless the school nurse got it.
Probably a while. Or they would have called they would have called the school, and they would have been very pissed. I mean, I think they were very pissed regardless.
Yeah.
But
They were not too happy that they learned about it from me.
well, yeah, because the fact they didn't call anyone was kind of messed up. Also, here's the funny part about that situation. You know, if someone has a concussion, you're not supposed to let them fall asleep because apparently I don't know, somehow they might die in their sleep or something like that. Yeah, they let me pass out and sleep on their couch for a good hour.
Oh my goodness.
I could have. Apparently, what happens is if you let someone concussion sleep, they might have a brain aneurysm or something and die in their sleep. Yeah, I could have died. No big deal. Could have popped the
Another
blood
close
vessel.
call.
Yeah, I could have popped a blood vessel in my head and just passed out, and the nurse would have been like, "What happened here?"
Well, thank God that did not happen.
If not, well, technically, I can add that to the times I almost died, right?
Oh my, another one to add to the books, you could say.
To be fair, though, that one could have been homicide, though, because that was all that dude's fault.
Oh yeah, like he intentionally threw that at you, aiming at you.
Was it
Like,
at me? Because I know he was throwing it in the air. I didn't know it was at me.
well, like you said, he didn't call. Like he didn't say, "Hey, go for it. Like catch this." He
Right.
just threw it without any signal.
I wonder what was going through his mind as he was, like, purposely throwing that at some dude's head unknowingly.
Yeah, like what would have been the game plan if the worst case scenario happened?
Yeah, if that actually killed me, guess what? You just committed murder. You're going to jail for life.
Don't know what came of that dude. Don't really care.
Don't know.
But
Probably nothing good. But on a better on a better note, that was our PE times. But before that, we never really hung out at your place or my place for a while. It was always like in a group situation though, right? Cuz I remember you say we didn't hang out until we had like a group party at your place and we watched a bunch of stuff. But I remember specifically, I went to your house for the first time because it was during summer, and I was like, "Oh, you know what would be cool to make s'mores." And I was like, I'm gonna ask my friend Martin, "Hey, do you wanna make s'mores?" And so we did. But what happened was, I went to your place, we hung out. I thought we were gonna do it over like a fireplace or something like that. No, Martin just puts the graham crackers, marshmallow, and chocolate like in a s'mores uh stack in the oven for a while, while we were watching, I don't know, either like a cartoon or an anime. Remember that one?
Yeah,
And
the good old days.
the good old days where we just ate s'mores. Surprisingly, we didn't mess your bed because the s'mores are fucking horrifically messy. But surprisingly, we didn't get anything on your bed, and instead we just watched anime or whatever till like, I don't know, like late at night, and then we just left. Or your someone drove me home, and you were there.
Yeah, my parents or my tío that was living with us at the time.
Maybe. Well, I know it was a fun small time. Then we started escalating to like, hey, let's go get not we didn't get pizza. We got one time we went to a Subway. We literally walked from your place to somewhere to get Subway, and then watched like Seven Deadly or Overlord, and then
I think it was Overlord.
yeah, and then it went to like, oh, we're gonna watch some more anime. But then your mom ordered us pizza, which was amazing. Like I didn't think that was gonna happen at all. It was just like your mom was like, "Hey, here's some pizza for you two." And I was like, "Yo, that's pretty nice, thanks."
Yeah, I remember like in the summer, I think maybe after our sophomore year, we started hanging out,
A lot,
every other day
yeah.
during the summer. Like I remember because we lived near each other. Like we
5
were
minutes.
maybe, yeah,
I
by
could walk
foot.
to your house actually in like
So
10.
sometimes you would come to my house, sometimes I'll go to your house and we would just hang out. I remember sometimes we would just play on the PS3 or we would watch anime. Sometimes we would venture out, like you said, we would go to get some pizza, some yogurt. I remember once we went to the park too.
I don't I don't have memories of us going to the park, which is weird, but I wouldn't doubt it because there's not a lot of stuff to do around us. So I could definitely see us going to the park.
It was just a one-time deal.
Yeah, because mostly it was kind of we were kind of introverted. We would just stay inside most of the time.
Plus, it was the summer.
Yeah, so you don't really want to go out. But we always had like a party. Like whenever you had like a family barbecue, I always remember I was always there, like all the
Yeah,
time.
and it got to a point where my family was already knowing you by your first name.
Yeah, and I thought you remember told me one time you were gonna have a party, and your mom was like, "Oh, is Dezmond gonna be there?" Or like, "Oh, Dezmond will be here," and then yeah, I showed up like an hour later.
Yeah. My cousins, a few of them too, got acquainted with you. Like my cousin Christopher, he knew you.
Oh, well, he definitely knows me now.
Yeah.
But
Then there was
yeah,
my cousin Luis and others, etc.
that we also met. Yeah. But I always remember, yeah, family barbecue, hung out, you and me, and then we also did parties at your place with our group. Which, by the way, if you didn't know, in high school, you always have groups. That's always a thing that people had. But our group was interesting because it fractured so many times.
Yeah, that was the interesting thing about our group. Like even though it was like maybe a medium-sized group, there was different, what's the good word to say? Like different groups within the groups. Like, you had the
Subgroups, yeah.
gamers, yeah, subgroups, the gamers, the introverts,
The
what
weebs,
else? Who else? Yeah, the weebs.
the
So like
problematic childs.
so it was like even though we were a big group, there was like, different groups of people doing their own thing. Like me and you, we were our own group.
Yeah. Now I think about it, yeah, it was just you and me. I was in the group kind of a little bit, and you were too, but really, the only people that hung out with me was you. So it was
And
less of a group.
our yeah, and our acquaintance, Mr. S.
Oh yeah, is it all right? So here's the funny part. I didn't know about that because I thought I knew him before you, or that you knew him after. But like apparently we both knew him. He just didn't really care to introduce us to each other.
Yeah, especially at that time too, I was with another group of friends who I didn't become like distant with until freshman year. So at that point, I was becoming more acquainted with you, Mr. S, and then like another group of friends.
Was that the same group that we had a barbecue at your place and we watched a movie,
Yeah, Zootopia.
the furry movie?
I forgot all about that movie.
I remember bits and pieces of it, but like I remember, yeah, we had your dad had to intervene because we were gonna do a barbecue on your grill on top of a plastic fucking table. Do you remember that one? He was like, probably don't
Yeah,
do that. And I'm like, to be fair, yeah, no, you probably don't want to grill on top of a plastic folding table or whatever it was. But we had a small barbecue. We just hung around, chilled, did some stuff, and then we watched a movie. And I don't remember what happened after the movie. Also, to our benefit, to our I guess cred, we did have we did have someone there who was one. We had a singular female in the entire group. Remember?
yeah.
She was cool.
And
She was interested in the movie. Most like she was the one who was super interested in the movie, if I remember correctly.
I just don't remember that group of friends. They're pretty much a blur at this point for me. I remember
Yeah.
maybe a few names, but I can't put a face to them. But I remember for barbecues, another thing that helped was the fact that I had a pool.
Oh yeah, but we never used your pool.
No, we did
We did?
a few times. I remember. Yeah,
I have zero. Well, it's probably because I don't swim, so I have zero memory of being in your pool.
yeah. Because I remember that was one of the reasons why, like, I was one of the two houses that was often used for, the barbecues.
Was because you
I
also
had
had
the
a grill.
pool. Yeah, the pool, the grill in the backyard. And my other friend, he had a bigger yard. His family was always grilling and barbecuing.
I don't remember that one.
So, we would always bounce back between, you know, my house and then that friend's house.
Right. I I'm pretty sure, yeah, because we definitely did it as a summer party because you had the pool and the grill. But I don't remember using the pool. Like I'm honest, but that's probably because I don't go in pools that often. So that's probably why I don't remember it. Do you remember the group though? It was you, me, another kid whose name starts with D, the the other guy who had an ambulance called because he almost busted his head on concrete, and his girlfriend. Remember we always went to his place for those parties. I think that's the other friend you were talking about.
The one that was really into anime?
Yeah,
No, he wasn't in that. So that group we're
because it's a
talking
separate
about,
group.
it was a different group from this one.
Okay,
Yeah.
but I remember we used to go to his place pretty frequently actually, and just have no. We went there once, but it was a big once because it was his birthday, and we just started. I don't know, just having parties in his backyard and his room. Remember that one?
Yes.
It was a fun time, but I remember I made a very horrible quality camera video, and it was just us all having fun, and you mean mugging and making a really weird joke. Do you remember that one?
Yes.
I'm not gonna bring it. I'm not
Yeah.
gonna go into detail about it, but it was like the perfect like explanation of our group's like I guess synergy, energy, like how we used to do things. It was you had this interesting persona you were trying to do, and then everything else was happening, but you always stuck around me for some reason,
We just clicked.
even though you were doing something that was very not clicking.
Yeah, it was a phase.
Yeah, that's true. I like to think though that in that phase you still chose to hang out with me, so that was pretty cool.
You're welcome.
I'm not sure if that's something you want to be.
And thank you. I know.
I don't know if that's something you want to be proud of, but all right.
Yeah.
But
Not proud of
that,
the phase.
yeah,
Proud of that I just still continue to hang out with you.
yeah, it was a fun time, and we also had some other fun experience, like with our mutual friend S. Remember, we went to see the Avengers 1 before the whole MCU was a thing, and we saw it in movie theaters, and it was like some of the most fun we've ever had.
Yeah, wasn't it for your birthday?
I think so. Yeah, I could definitely
Because
see
I
that
remember
being.
I remember you invited me
I definitely, yeah,
during, school.
yeah, I invited you, and I think, well, all right, here's the thing. I'm not sure if I invited more people other than you and our mutual friend, but I probably did, and none of them showed up. That's just par for the course. But I remember we either went to that place first, or we went to the computer cafe, and then after the computer cafe, we went to go watch the movie. One of those things happened. But it was a fun time because we played a bunch of games that we never could play because they had some good PCs back then over there. And then we watched a super fun action movie and just it's something that I really liked, and I think you guys really liked the movie too, if I remember correctly.
It was. I still follow the MCU universe.
Yeah, it was really fun, and we probably got some food because that area, the movie theater we went to, it was surrounded by everything you could want. The movie theater, multiple food places, including a sushi place, a computer cafe. It had everything over there.
A Wingstop too.
Oh yeah, like across the street. It had literally everything you could want in a hangout place. But then
Even had
also,
a hotel there
oh, that's
for some reason.
right.
It stood out. It stood out.
That's right. It has
Like
a
it did not
hotel.
fit there.
I mean, to be
Yeah.
fair, a lot of hotels here don't really make sense because there's nothing around here. Even there, it's
Yeah.
just like, oh yeah, you have the hotel. What's the main attraction? The movie theater. Not really the best bang for your buck. But do you also remember we used to hang around? We used to do Halloween together. You, me, and our mutual friend.
Yes, I remember one like the actually the last Halloween, where I dressed up and went trick or treating was with you and our mutual friend.
Yeah, it was fun because I don't know why I was on like a cooking trend, and so I made something right. It was I made something in a rice cooker. I think it was like a tomato, salt, pepper, and rice, rice cooker. And then I was like, "Here, you guys." I was like, "Hey, you guys, there you are. You want to try this?" And I just gave you guys like hot food for apparently your words, not mine. This was the first time you had hot food in a while. Do you remember that one?
Yeah. Yes.
I don't know why you said it, but I remember you just said this was like some of the best hot food and the only hot food you had for a while. I'm like, now I think about it, why was that?
Honestly, I don't know why I said it. I think, well, during that time, a good portion of the food I ate was microwave,
Oh,
and it wasn't really good because back then my parents they would work, so sometimes they didn't have time to cook, so I would just improvise
right.
and just have microwave dinners. The power that gets college students through.
Oh yeah, the microwave dinners. And so that was like your first time having an actual cooked meal, even though it was from a rice cooker.
Yep,
That's something you can do in your area right now, is that tomato rice thing. Actually, now I think about it.
I could now, especially that I have a kitchen.
You don't have a rice cooker though, do you?
Oh no, I do. That's one
Okay.
of the first things I bought.
Okay, then you totally could do that. But then, oh, remember? Then we had a phase of us hanging out with another friend. I think his name started with A, right? And we went to go,
Hey.
yeah, and we went to go get hot wings, and we watched 13 Reasons Why for
Oh
some
yes,
reason.
yeah. I'm still in contact with him, but we don't talk often.
Right. He was pretty busy from what he was doing last time. But I remember for some reason we went to go get hot wings, and then we went to go get, I think it was like beer or some sort of like mixed drink from a gas station, specifically a gas station. And then we went back to your place and watched 13 Reasons Why for some reason. I don't know why.
Yeah. Tell you,
Oh.
man, 21. That's the wonder year.
Well, here's the thing. You refused to drink at 21 because I was like, "Oh, we could go to bars." And like, "I don't really drink."
Yeah, I was a late bloomer to that.
Oh, yeah, now you're drinking a lot. I mean, it's
Yep.
fine. And then remember the one of those few times you came to hang out with me at my place. And I forgot what we went to get, but we went to go no, we played basketball at the park, another park. And then we ate something, and then we went back to my place and we just watched cooking shows. It was Hell's Kitchen, which is one of my favorite cooking series ever. And then some weird show when they were trying to cook with edible weed. Remember that one?
Oh, yes.
And it was just this weird show that they just had on because I was like, oh, let's look up cooking shows on Netflix. And then the first result was like, watch these chefs try to cook with this, and I'm like, wow, okay, that's interesting. And we just watched it as we were just eating our random food.
The good old days of just eating pizza and burgers.
Yeah, and then we went. Well, you say that the good old days, but remember when we first went to like Dave and Buster's, and we went to the restaurant place? All we would eat is burgers because that's all they had.
Yeah, that was like literally the entirety of their menu. But
Right.
we mostly just went there for
Well, yeah, we went.
for the games and the mall.
Yeah, we went there mostly just to hang around, and it wasn't until relatively recently we went there for the alcohol because you got a discount. The whole reason we drank there was because you got a discount.
Oh man, I tell you, I love me a military discount.
Until they say the phrase that you hate the most while they were pouring our drinks. You remember that?
What was that phrase? No.
While they were pouring our drinks, and you were kind of with it, but then as soon as they said thank you for your service, your fucking face dropped.
Oh yes, that the one phrase that just does not sit well with me.
I just because they were making the drinks because we were having shots, so they would just pour the drinks, and they said that, and you were just like, yeah, okay. Immediate, just didn't want to be there anymore.
It's like, all right, well, thank you for ruining my leave.
Because like I remember that so vividly. We were so like, oh hell yeah, we're gonna do shots with the you, me, and your other cousin, and then that happened. You're like, okay, cool, thanks for ruining the night there, buddy.
Yeah, I don't get a whole lot of leave, but you just made this one. You just ruined the day for me.
I mean,
I don't know. It just doesn't sit right with me.
apparently
It
it's because
just,
it reminds you of what you have to do.
yeah. It's like, hey, man, I'm here to party and have fun, not think about work.
Right. But oh, those fun times. And then the same cousin, we went to Knott's Berry Farm. Remember that one? That was a fun time.
Oh, especially the drive back home because I don't do freeways. Oof.
You mean driving at night on a fucking mountain pass where we could have died?
Yes. Yes.
At
Especially
night with no
considering I do
light?
not have good vision.
And there was no lamps on that road?
Oh, dude, remember when we were going downhill? Like how the streets had us like sharp turns?
Yeah.
Oh my. I just should have risked going on the freeway. It was
Uh,
like middle of the night, so there was hardly any vehicles on the
yeah,
freeway.
and you could probably have stuck in the slow lane, it would have been fine.
But
You want to write that up
don't know
as
why.
another near-death experience?
A group near-death experience, as you
Yeah.
can say.
But
But
so
hey, it made that night or that day more memorable.
yeah, I mean it was pretty fun except for when we first went, it was like 100 degrees.
Yes, I remember we had to buy like those big old humongous water bottles.
And the messed up part was, right, it was super hot and everyone in the park knew it. No free water anywhere.
Mm-mm.
And I'm like, wow, you want us to have heat strokes and die in this park? Because, like, it was so hot. No water fountains in sight. You had to buy, like, soda, basically, to keep. Because, like, if you're going to buy water, it's the same price for a soda. So you might as well buy a soda. And so
But
I remember we had to buy those stupid, like, commemorative jugs in order to get free refills.
I think I lost mine already,
I
or I just
definitely
left it
lost.
back home
I left mine too. I'd lost mine too because I don't need it because we only bought it out of not to die from thirst.
just for survival.
Yeah, it was stupid how that was with them. But I mean, it was still a fun time. I mean, we found you guys have experienced my favorite roller coaster there, which was Ghost Rider. And, oh, I love that ride.
That ride is amazing, but it's also a death trap.
Yeah, because most roller coasters they know how we should slow the carts to bank for the turn. No, this thing will hit the turn at full speed. Like you will hit that turn like you got whiplash.
Exactly, and remember, it was all made of wood,
Oh yeah, it's their only wooden
so
coaster.
so you would hear like the wood creak as you were going through.
Yeah.
And there, I tell you, there were so many points where like the wood was hanging low, and if you were tall enough, I felt like it would have hit you.
Yeah, me being 6 feet, I had to duck down for
Yeah,
multiple sections. Yes.
because it's staggered. Remember, the roller
Yeah.
coaster just it piles on top of itself.
Remember, I don't know if it was the heat, like you were getting delirious from the heat, but you started screaming out random stuff before the drop. You
Yeah, that
remember?
was on the other roller coaster.
What? Which
I
I
was
thought.
having fun, dude.
I
Like
mean,
I
yeah.
said, it was my leave. I'm like, I'm here to have fun, not think of work. So I was like, let it all out, man. Let it all out.
Yeah, I mean, it was a fun time, except for the heat. And we saw there were people still in costume. Like there was someone on top of like a building in full costume, and it was like 100 degrees out. We're like, wow, that dude, he drew the short end of the stick for today's shift, don't you think?
Oh yes, in the Western theme section of the
Yeah,
amusement park.
hell yeah.
Yeah,
But then
and he was in character then.
he was in character the whole time. I'll give him that. But did you know we missed out on something? We could have bought cigars at the Western place and smoked them in the amusement park.
They sell cigars?
In the same place they sell the toy guns, they sell literal cigars.
I did not know that.
I mean, if you knew it, would we have done it? Because I would have.
I would have too.
Because yeah, dude, like a cigar, like that's an authentic Southern cigar too, because it's an authentic Southern area.
Ooh. Yeah, I only smoked a cigar once, and that was in celebration for graduation from tech
Wow,
school.
I
So
have never done cigars. I maybe would like to try it once, but who knows? What else was there? Other than the heat. Oh yeah, then we met your cousin, who's gonna become like it's not even a question. He's gonna be a very famous person in the music industry,
oh yes, he's actually on a TV show right
dude. Yeah,
now.
he's in the finals.
Yeah, like
He
he's going,
is.
and he released a music video a few months ago on YouTube.
Yeah, and like he's going places, and like he even had the judges on his side.
I know. I hope he wins. I gotta check up on him and see what's happened. But I know all of that's pre-recorded.
Yeah,
But from what we've seen, he's making a name for it himself, and
he's
he's very passionate about it. So that's what I like about that.
right.
He's like following his dreams.
But you want to talk about how you ghosted him the entire day?
Yeah. So I didn't mean that. So I'm not good with directions. I remember like my cousin's phone. I don't think his Google Maps was working. Yours was giving us some issues, so we were relying on my phone for directions, to the amusement park and back home. And by the time we got to the park, it was already like at 40, 50%. And it's an old phone, so the battery drains really quick. So I was like, you know what? This is our only way home. I'm not trying to get lost here. Let me shut off my phone. And for like the bulk of our time at Knott's Berry Farm, it was off. And unbeknownst to me, he was calling me because he wanted to go. Because earlier I invited him, but I think he had like a performance to do, and I think he was working, so he couldn't make it. But like I said, he was trying to call us because not only him, but my little cousin wanted to go to Knott's Berry Farm too, and she was sad that she couldn't go. So I felt even more bad for it. And of course, my cousin doesn't have, your phone number or my other cousin's phone number. So I didn't see his text until nighttime when we were leaving, and I turned my phone back on. And I was like, oh, I messed
Oof.
up.
I mean, fair, but he didn't seem mad when he finally met us.
No, because he had a busy day. It's not like he was waiting for a while, or maybe he was and he just didn't say it. But
Maybe
I just felt bad. But I know he was also there for to see the performance of another
Mariachi.
of his like, yeah.
All right, I'm gonna say this right now. Knott's Berry Farm, that area with with the mariachi, they performed in, and I quote, the Mexican Villa, and they might need a rework of that place because nothing about it says Mexican other than the opportunity for mariachi bands, cause and I can attest to this. Remember, we were trying to find a taco place in uh in the Mexican Villa, right? But the only thing they had was a hot dog place.
Yes, and that just threw me off entirely. It did not make sense to me. I was mad. I was like, y'all are gonna have a Mexican village down here and no, like not even a taco stand
Nope. No,
or even a burrito bar or something.
no, they're just like the best we can do is hot dogs. It was just like
Yeah,
okay. Uh, but I
the betrayal.
the betrayal. But that being said, they had amazing funnel cakes at that Knott's Berry Farm. Oh, damn, they have great ones.
They were delicious. I remember the funnel cake. I even took a picture of it.
Yeah, if I was more into Instagram at that time, like I am now, I would have done it too. But yeah, it was like the perfect funnel cake with like the perfect swirl of vanilla ice cream and boysenberries because that's their thing, and it was so amazing. The only problem is I went there and I was doing research and I wanted to try their boysenberry frap. They didn't have it. They don't have it at all apparently, and it's like a super limited time offer, and I'm never there when they have it, which is disappointing.
I remember you sent me a video of like all the foods you should try at Knott's Berry Farm. I think we only tried two of them because a
Yeah,
lot of that stuff,
it's
there's
not
either
there.
long lines for it and it was really hot that day, so we didn't want to risk it, or they were just sold out.
Yeah, like the frappe, but we didn't get to try the funnel cake. That funnel cake was worth it.
Hmm.
But yeah, it also
I love.
the main problem in that area though is just remember us going into that like big restaurant esque area and we were dying and we're like we need water or something or we're gonna die.
Oh yeah, we were just in there for like a good 30 minutes,
Just
just
trying to
catching our breath.
yeah, because it was so hot outside and there was no like water or anything, which is kind of weird that that would happen.
I would go back to Knott's Berry Farm, but on a cold day, not
Yeah,
on not during the summer.
same. Yeah, I would definitely go during like November or October. Maybe October because they do also do like Halloween stuff.
Oh yes, Not Scary Farm. I have not seen it in person, but I do want to go one day.
Same. I'm not sure when that is though because I would only go if you went, and you're not gonna be back in the States for who knows how long.
As far as I can tell you, maybe not for like a good year.
Right.
Yeah, because I'm only, as far as I know, I'm granted leave once during my time in your Korea, and I'm trying to take it to a trip for the Philippines.
Hell yeah. Speaking of which, apparently your words, not mine. I influence a lot of things of your life. Explain.
Yeah, so you were very instrumental in the early days of my anime
I mean,
phase.
yeah, fair.
Yeah, like you introduced me to isekai anime through Overlord. Because
Okay.
at the time, I was just watching, any type of anime. I was skipping to, action, romance, harem, historical.
Right.
Because, I didn't have a theme or a genre actually that I was really into. And then you introduced me to two actually that were very big for me. Overlord, which got me into isekai anime, and Seven Deadly Sins, which got me into action
Oh
anime
yeah.
as well. And since then, I'm still following those series. You also got me into sushi, you know.
Oh
Surprisingly, when I was watching anime, I was not, you know, I didn't know about sushi until you introduced me to a sushi bar near the theater we would frequent.
oh yeah, because that area had everything.
And dude, I tell you, since you got me into sushi, I got my parents into sushi as well because we would go to that theater as a family and often we were hungry. So I just said, hey, let's just try the sushi bar. Dezmond introduced it to me and I was like, and they just went for it. And since then, dude, for like a good 2 years, we would often eat at that sushi bar.
Yeah, you even told me sometimes you're like, oh yeah, my parents would order sushi from here. I'm like, really?
Yeah, we would have that for dinner sometimes, like if my mom didn't want to cook or we just didn't want to go to like a fast food joint, we would just order sushi from that bar and I would go and pick it up.
Dude, yeah. I mean, that's interesting to know because I thought that place was a one-off, but I brought literally all my friends there, and they all want to go back there for some reason. But
It's good, and I
yeah,
I don't know if it's still open.
I
It's
think it's
been a
under new
while since.
management.
Oh, okay.
I remember I tried to go there recently. It's under new management and completely different, basically. So basically, no, it's not there
Wow,
anymore.
that's unfortunate. Just the
Yeah,
memories that place had. Because
yeah,
it's the place that got me into sushi.
right.
Like,
But I mean, there's some good sushi places. Like, there's this actual sushi company that has like branches inside other places like Sam's, Costco, Stater Brothers, and they have some really good sushi there. That being said, I only go there for the seaweed salad because that's all I can eat, but it's still pretty good. Now,
but
hold on. The very most important part of influence was what do you mean I influence your taste in people?
what do you mean tasting people?
Apparently, you said something along the lines of like, "Oh, you also influenced my preference and like appreciation for culture in Filipino culture."
Yeah, so I
Explain.
didn't realize this until recently, but there's I'm just more associated with Filipino culture, like, or at least people like, there's you, my good friend who's Filipino.
Yeah.
My current girlfriend, she's actually from the Philippines as well. And then during my time here in the military, I've made quite a few friends who are Filipino. And for me, I just feel like that just stems from you
How
because
so?
you're one of my best friends.
Right.
You're like one of the friends that I've known from the longest that I'm still in contact with.
Right.
And I remember too, often when I'll go to your house, sometimes your family would cook Filipino dishes, and I would try them, and I really liked them. They were good.
Hmm.
So I like to think that you indirectly got me into Filipino culture, and then just helped me become more acquainted with Filipino people
Interesting. I mean, it also helps that
as a whole.
true. It also helps the fact that we have a similar esque history with the whole. Hey, we were also colonized by Spain.
Exactly.
But that being said,
Like we had that common ground too.
yeah. That being said, I am the worst example of a Filipino. I'm gonna tell you that right now. I am
I'm the worst example of a Mexican.
fair. So we're both the worst examples of our cultures.
I am what you call an Americanized Mexican.
I'm super Americanized. Like we got the Filipino breakfast of like eggs, rice, and like your protein, right? You know what? And that's like their idea of a perfect breakfast. You know what mine is that I wish I could still eat? Biscuits and gravy.
Mine is scrambled eggs or cereal and oatmeal.
Right. But like biscuits and gravy is the most southern thing ever, and I mean to be fair, cereal is also kind of Americanized. Now I think about it, because there's not a lot of countries that eat cereal more than Americans.
I don't even know what they have for breakfast in Mexico. Now
Uh,
I think about it.
that is
Maybe
your area.
eggs, like maybe huevos con chorizo. Don't quote
Yeah.
me on that, but
Maybe what was it called? Huevos ranchero.
ooh, that's kind
Maybe.
of the downside now being
Maybe.
Korea. There's not a whole lot of Mexican restaurants here.
Dude, that would suck because like I can go to a Mexican supermarket and I can get literally pre-made chili or what's it called chili rellenos and just pop in the microwave and now I have two chili rellenos at any time.
Yeah, that's not gonna be happening here in
No,
Korea.
it's not. Also, by the way, chili relleno is my favorite Mexican dish ever. It's so good.
Mine is tamales.
Yeah. Or like,
I just
oh,
love them. It's
have you had birria?
yes.
It's
Surprisingly,
so good. And
there's a Mexican restaurant and bar right off my base that has birria tacos.
ooh,
They
uh,
are amazing,
true.
dude.
But
And
the birrias I'm thinking of are the one in the soup where you had you have the birria soup and you got your I was gonna say tamales. No, they have your my brain the what tortillas. I was fucking hell. But
The
yeah,
tortilla chips?
no. Do you have tortillas, like the uncooked tortillas,
Oh, okay, okay.
with your birria soup, and it's so good.
Mm. Dude, you're making me want to go off base now and get those tacos.
I mean, you have the rest of the day to do it if you want.
True,
But
maybe.
yeah, but apparently I
I'm too
also
just. I'm just.
apparently I influence your drinking habits somehow. Oh no, I
Yes,
remember.
because
Yeah, go on.
so I remember when I was at my first base, I was like, you know what? Might as well just try my hand at liquor and you know beer. So I remember texting you like, hey man, so what's a good starter beer or liquor that you would recommend? And you told me Jack and Coke,
It's not a
and
beer,
I
but yeah,
tried.
Jack and Coke is my favorite mix ever.
And I remember for like the first half of my time at my old base, that's what I would often have on like on a Saturday or Sunday night. I would get the Jack, get the Coke, and I would just watch anime or play World of Warcraft.
Yeah, and just drink
Eventually,
Jack.
I did branch out into like beer and like trying other cocktails, but Jack and Coke is what started it all, and you were the one that recommended it to me.
Yeah,
So you've had quite the influence on my life.
apparently. And now I influenced you enough to do a podcast with me and gameplay with me.
Exactly.
So basically, a YouTube channel with me. But I remember that text very vividly because I remember you just shot me a text like, "Hey, dude, beginner's drink. What should I go for?" And I was like, "Oh, I know, rum and coke, or not rum and coke, Jack and Coke. You can't go wrong with Jack and Coke or rum and coke, but that's a little bit sweeter for most."
I remember for like months, I would just have a Jack and like a Jack Daniels bottle in my fridge. Just, hey, this is what I'm doing Saturday night. Nobody disturb me.
Oh, but that was some interesting times. And hey, even though like that was just our beginning phase, dude, we still have our whole lives ahead. Who knows what we can get up to? Hopefully a lot of stuff. Like hopefully you can like go out back and visit me and do some more stuff and we can do like I don't know, do have some fun. And since I'm gonna do YouTube, we could do even like live action content and
Nice.
like all this so fun things. So
Yeah,
to the future, right? Hopefully whatever happens, we got our buds with us, right?
exactly. And I would like to visit Kentucky one day.
Yeah, dude. It'll be
I want
fun.
to I want to see that part of the country because I'm used to the big city life.
Right. Well,
So I want to see how it is out in the countryside or
right.
at least in a different part of the US because for me, I've only been to New York once and Las Vegas a handful of times. And, of course,
LA.
Texas for
Yeah.
basic training and, tech school. So
Yeah,
that's
it's true.
that's all I've seen in
Well,
the US.
well then, hopefully you can come on down at some point and we'll have a bunch of fun, dude. But
I would like that.
and that's what I say. For now, you guys know this is me and Martin, and you can tell we've been through a lot. And Martin's definitely one of those people. I'm like, yeah, no, I consider him a brother, 100%. He
I
is
appreciate it too. I consider you now part of mi familia.
that. Also, now I wasn't before,
Or no,
but
I always have.
but yeah, to me and him, that's what you're seeing. You're gonna see two dudes who are basically has so much, like respect and care for each other that we're brothers. You're gonna see us more or hear us more as we do more podcasts, more gameplay stuff, and it's gonna be great. And hopefully, if Martin ever visits, we'll do some live action stuff. That's
Can't wait for see what the future awaits.
yeah, dude. And I hope the future, as cheesy as it sounds, I hope that future will be awesome, and also have you there too, so we'll always have some fun.
Appreciate it, man. You as well.
And for you guys who are listening or watching the video, just saying like, yeah, always be with your friends, know who your friends are, and spend as much time as you can with them.
Exactly. Because, life's too short, so just have as much fun as you can. Just
Yeah,
go for it.
exactly.